So one of the questions would be about probability. So say I have 3 yellow one and 5 red one. Okay, so for this one, shoot, what is the total number of marble that we have? Secondly, we want to find the probability of drawing one blue, the probability of drawing first blue, and second is also blue, but this one with replacement. This one, D. Probability of first blue and second blue, no replacement. We want to find the probability of either drawing a yellow or a red one. Okay? So I'm doing an O exam, so it will be similar, different number, maybe different color, I don't know. But very similar question you will see on the test, okay? Okay, totally how many different marbles? Okay, and they ask you to show the steps, so we just add them up, right? 7 blue plus 3 yellow plus 5 red. What did you say? 15 total, right? Everybody okay with that part? Add them together. Okay, the second one say probability of drawing a blue one. How? It's usually what over what?
1 over total, so 7 over 15.
Yes, the favorable outcome over total outcome. So it's going to be a little bit fast because I want to show you all the questions, but I'm recording it, so I'm going to send you the link this afternoon. Okay. So if you not want to watch it a few times, that's fine. Total outcome is blue is 7, total is 15. Is everybody okay with that? It didn't say answer they want, so fraction is fine for this one. But if you turn it into decimal, that's okay with me too. Some of them will say like decimal, 2 decimal places. So you have to read the question carefully, okay? Okay, so this is actually the notation I want you to do on the test. It's like P with a parenthesis and you describe what's going on, like that you want, okay? So you should write like that on the test. So the C1 say first is blue and second is blue. So for the n probability, what kind of operation do we do? Going to be multiplication because like for these two things to happen at the same time, the probability would be smaller than just one of them happening. So because each of them will produce a fraction or decimal, when you multiply fraction or decimal, usually the answer will be smaller. So n probability is going to be multiplication. So now we have to think about if it's replacements. The first one drawing, this is blue. What is the probability of that? The first one drawing it out is blue. 7 out of 15, 7 blue out of 15 total, right? With replacement means what? You are going to put it back to the whole group. So the total on the second round is going to be exact same 15. And how many blue do we have? Still 7 out of 15, right? So the easiest way is leave it as fraction, but how do we multiply fractions? It's like top times top, bottom times bottom, like that. Okay, so what do we have? 49 on top, bottom 225, you say? So for this particular one, it didn't specify what kind of answer, so if you want to leave it like that, it's okay. Anybody can turn that into a percentage. Do you know how? 49 divided by 225 is what? Yeah, because the decimal number is like 0.21 and then 7 repeating, right? Like that. So if you need to turn that into percentage, you can multiply 100%, or you can move 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 21.78% if I want 2 decimal places, okay? Something like that. Okay, the next one is without. The first round you should get what? 7 out of 15, but this time you don't fold the ball back. So the second round you have what? So you have 1 less blue, and then total you have 1 less. Is it okay? No replacement. Still n probability. N probability we do what? Multiply. So if I just one fraction, what do we get? Out of 210, but you probably need to reduce this one at least. So if you divide it by 2, you have
1
over 105. Look like both of them can be divided by 3. What do we get?
7 over 35.
Look like both of them can be divided by not 5, but 7. So 7 times 1 and 7 times
1 over 5.
5. Okay. So if it's a fraction, if it can be reduced, you have to reduce it. If I turn it into percentage, what would that be? 20%. That one is actually easy to see. 20%. Are we okay? With replacement, without replacement, and probability, we multiply. Okay, the last one is all probability. So all probability means if I draw a yellow, it's okay. If I draw a red, it's okay. So the answer should be bigger than the individual probability. So this kind of probability for all, we are adding. What is the probability of getting a yellow? How many yellow do we have? 3 out of 15. How many red? Out of 15. When you add fraction, what do? You have the same denominator, so stay 15, and then add the top together, which will give me 8 over 15. You can turn it to percentage if you want, but they didn't ask. Are we okay with that? Questions? Okay, so the next one is similar to the one on the take-home quiz, which I'm going to send you the key today. Are you guys checking my Leo email? Because some of you are not, so I'm like, I'm sending it to somewhere, nobody's sees. It's going to give you a table. Dice is loaded. This is the number that you wrote and the probability, okay? So this loaded dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. The probability is 0.12, decimal, sorry, 0.27, 0.08, 0.14, 0.15. We don't know 6, and we should know the total should be what? 1. Probability add up to 1. So I will have empty spot in the table that you have to put together. So how do I find this guy? You can add them and subtract, or I can just subtract them either way. Minus 0.12, minus 0.27, minus 0.15. and it's 0.15. So if I subtract all of them, somebody do that for me, please. What is the missing part? Okay. 0.12, 0.27, 0.08, 0.14, 0.15.
I got
Last
0.24.
0.24. Anybody second that? I'm not going to write down until I have at least two answers.
Yeah.
It's the same. Okay, 0.24. So I'm going to put 0.24 here. So that's one of the questions they asked. What is the probability of drawing a 6? So the answer would be 0.24. Okay, but you have to show a little bit step, like you subtract or you add and then subtract. Just show some step. You cannot just give me the answer. Question about this. So this is a loaded dice. That's why they don't have equal opportunity. So if it's a regular dice, rolling a 6 would be, it would be what? 1 out of 6, right? But they specifically say this is a loaded dice, okay? The second one say, what is the probability of rolling an odd number from this strange dice? What is the probability of odd? What kind of odd result can I have? Probability of getting a 1 or 3 or 5, right? And we have those numbers in the table, correct? So what is 1? 0.12 plus 0.08 is 3 plus 0.15 is 5, right? So add them together, the answer should be 0.35. So this, we have one question like this on the take-home quiz, right? So similar on the actual exam. The next one also on the take-home quiz 1, I think. So this car salesperson recorded how many car he sold for the last few months. This is the probability. Sometimes he sold 2, the probability is 0.32. Selling 3 car is 0.37. Selling 4 car is 0.22. Selling 5 car is 0.09. 0.32 plus 0.37 plus 0.22 plus 0.09. Does it add up to 1? Yeah. So I may put like total here, and then you should put what here? The probability should add up to 1. All right, so they are asking based on this table, what is the expected car sales this month? So found the expected sales this month. What is the formula for expected value?
Times the probability and you add them all.
Yes, the expected value is going to be value times the probability and value 2 times probability 2. Depending on how many you have, you just keep doing it, right? So for this particular one, the expected value, we are going to do what? The value for the first one is how many cars? 2 car, probability is 0.32, adding 3 car times 0.37, adding car times adding. Okay, several of you on the take-home quiz, you set it up correctly, but you multiply and add it wrong. So make sure you practice and you know how to do it, okay? $3.08, okay. What does that mean? They say, why an answer statement? Sales this month oh, 8 cars, so we can say about 3 cars. I know I'm pretty, this month, quick and for this, but I will, hopefully this video is recorded correctly. You can speed it up like 1.5 or something, so it take too long for you to watch it. Last year I have 14, and then the number 15 is an extra credit. Okay. So that's the plan. That's the expected value. You have about 15 questions. Okay, one of the questions I may ask you is saying that you have two machines, machine A and B. So machine A and B, one produce 45% and one produce 50% of whatever you're making, respectively. The company quality control department determined that 3% of the item produced from A effective. So the effective part is 3% from A and then 1% from B. So this is what's going on here. So they want a tree diagram. First, and then if an item is selected randomly and defective, so you pick a random item, it's defective. What is the probability is from A machine? So this is conditional probability that we have done. I forgot, it's either chapter 8.3 or 8.5. I think it's 8.3. So that is going to be a tree diagram. Conditional probability. So this is like, I'm going to have this tree here, A and B. Defective, not defective. And then I want you to put in number for each part of the tree first. So write that down for me. That's part A of the questions. The part B of the question is a condition, something given something. So an item is defective, probability is coming from A. So draw the tree first. Well, the number for each part of this. What is probability of what given what? 45% from A and 55% from B. So together they should add up to 100%. Can you change them to decimal? 0.45 and 0.55. How many are defective from A? 3%, meaning 0.03. So how many of them are not defective? 97%, because 100% subtract 3 is 97, right? Meaning what decimal number? 0.97 for the B. Defective? 1%, meaning 0.01. So 99% is not defective, right? So it's going to be 0.99. Can we do the tree diagram? Okay, so I will actually draw the tree. You just need to fill out the number. Okay, and then the item is defective given is from the A machine. So I want to show you real quick, and if you wanted to take a picture, you can. These are the formula that I'm going to give you on Thursday. So if you want to take a picture, you can. I can try to upload it to D2L. So this is the all probability and probability, the given conditional probability, expected value, slope formula, slope intercept form, point slope formula. So those are all the formula will be given to you, and you need to know how to use it. Can I ask you what does that mean? During the test, yes. Then you need to remember them. Yeah, that would be actually on the question. So yeah, okay. All right. So given, so following this formula is say on the top that's going to be probability of both of them, right? A and D for this one, and then the probability of the given part, which is probability of D. So you can use this formula to put in the correct letter of what you're trying to find. Defective given A. So that has been a while. I don't know if you still remember. So A and D and the path to D. So it's going to be, we are starting from A to D, right? So these two numbers multiplied together, 0.45 times 0.03 is A to D, right? A and D. And then the path to D, so this is one path, and then at the bottom can also be B to D, right? So the two need to add together. So from A to D is just what we have earlier, 0.45 times 0.03. So the top one to D, right? And then the bottom one, you have 0.55. And then also go to D, which is 0.01. Are we okay? So like A to D is on top, like A to D plus B to D at the bottom. So top is both of them, bottom is path to D. Okay, somebody found me that decimal number. So multiply this divided by all this at the bottom. It should be a decimal number turned into a percentage. The answer need to be 2 decimal places.
72.97%.
Okay. You say 71 point what?
I said 72.97.
Try it again. 71 point what? Give me 2 decimal places. That's correct. So if you have a hard time, you can multiply the top first, and then you can combine the bottom first and see what happens. So it's 0.45 times 0.03. 0.0135, 0.0135, need to add 0.55 times 0.01. Exponential thing, so adding 0.0135, something like that, so it's like a 0.01. So if you cannot get the answer one step, just like do it step by step. Just break it into more steps, okay? Because this would be a decimal number of 0.710526, and then you move 2 decimal places to change it to percentage, right? So this means they ask you to write an answer statement. If you pick an item randomly, you can find it's defective 71.05% that is coming from machine A. Because machine A, the probability is a lot higher than machine A. An item selected random and found defective. (71.05%) that it would be produced by machines A, something like that. So we just want to make sure you actually understand what that number represents, okay? Next one, I want you to look. We are going to look at this picture together. So some of the question may be coming from a picture. Can you find what is domain? What is domain again? Possible x value. So looking at here, the smallest x look like -2. X is left and right, right? So -2 should come with what? Parentheses, because it's an open circle, right? Go all the way to x equal to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it n a 7? Okay, 7. So if we do 7, then the 7 with this solid point would be what? Open circle is parentheses, closed circle is brackets. Remember that? All right, second one is range. Range is possible what? Y value, so up and down, right? The lowest point for y is what?
It's -2, isn't
Is it -2? Do you agree with him? -2 for y? Yes, okay. -2 come with what? A solid point, so it's going to be brackets, comma, the highest point for y. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be y equal to 3. Close it with brackets. Are we okay? So just make sure you stick with like the smallest x to the biggest x, the smallest y to the biggest y, because domain and range. We okay? These two supposed to be clear and then you can find easily, but a lot of students miss that. Is this a function? How to decide if something is a function or not? The vertical line test, does it?
Yes.
Yes, so C is, this is a function because it passed the vertical line test. How do you pass a vertical line test? It only costs up to 1 point. Are we okay? So the next part is, so we say pass vertical line test is the reason. We need to find f of -1. What does that mean? F of -1 meaning they give you what value?
X value.
Because f of x equal to y, right? So I see x is -1. So looking at this picture, when x is -1, your y equal to what? Is it 1?
Yeah,
It looks like 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so it's 1. So they give you the x value is -1, then the y is 1. Are we okay? How about the last question? They ask you the x value when f of x equal to 2. F of x equal to 2, what is f of x?
Y.
When y equal to 2, x equal to what? X, y equal to 2 is here, right? X equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it okay? So x is 6. It's going to be in front of you when you take the test. It's trying to give you a realistic question that you will see on. Be something like this, move it a little bit. Okay? But that's the idea, okay? Questions? All right. That's one question. The next question, we did something kind of like that on the take-home quiz. Okay, so number 7. Okay, so we have a car. We bought a car, company car. When you bought it, it's going to be valued at $55,375 and depreciate in a linear way. Okay, so, but this time it's not going to go to 0, okay? So at the end of 6 years, so after 6 years, $10,375. So they want to ask a few questions. One is, what is the depreciation rate? Second one is the book value. at the end of year 4. So this one is slightly different from the take-home quiz because after 6 years, there's still some value on the car. Okay, so we have 2 points basing on the time and the value. First point is what over what? When it's year 0, the value is 55,375. When it's year 6, we have 10,375. Okay, so the rate of depreciation is basically finding what? Slope. So m equal to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Can you help me to plug it in, please?
10,375 minus 5,375
Over
6 minus 0.
6 year minus 0. So it should be a negative number, right? On top, we have a negative of what?
45,000.
Over 6 years. That's a lot of money. Okay. So divided by 6. Is it a nice number?
Negative 7,500.
Per year, right? So each year, the value of the car drops $7,500. Okay? And it should be a negative because it's depreciating. And they ask the rate of depreciation, you will say it loses $7,500 per year, basically. Okay, how about the book value year 4? Quickest way I feel like is doing y equal to mx plus b, okay? So because we actually have a y-intercept, so the m equal to negative 7,500 per year, but the b is y-intercept. Which one is my y-intercept? Y-intercept x has to equal to 0, which we have that point, right? So this is my y-intercept, which is b will equal to 55375, right? So we can use these 2 pieces of information and plug it in here. So y will equal to times how many years? 4 years, right? And then adding my original value, which is 55375. So the value is going to be $25,000. $375 is the book value for the car, right? After 4 years. They asked for an answer statement, but I just abbreviate it here, as long as everybody understands it. Are we okay with this? Did that in the take-home quiz too? Did I collect everybody who didn't turn in the take-home quiz? Okay, so now let's look at another one. So one of the questions is from the piecewise functions. If you have, say, plus 2 when x is less than negative 3 and x minus 5 if x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So this is the question. Basing on the x value, you need to find different function to plug it in. So one of them asks f of negative 4 and one asks for f of 2. So we have to decide which function to plug it in. So if x equal to negative 4, should we go for the top function or the bottom function? So this one or this one? This is x equal to negative 4, right? So we should use the top one or the bottom one? the top one because it's less than 3, right? So we will equal to 3 times something plus 2. So 3 times -4 is -12 plus 2 is, okay, that's all. And then the second one, x equal to what? 2. So if x equal to 2, is it less than -3 or greater than -3? Greater, so we should use the bottom one. So the second one, x equal to 2, use the bottom function. So it's not always the first one use the top one, the second one use bottom. I may switch them, okay, on the test. I don't know what I'm going to do, okay? So it's going to be 3 times, which one do we use? Bottom one, which is x minus a 5, right? And we plug in what? 2. Because we use this one, right? And then x equal to 2. Okay, 2 minus 5 is? -3. Are we okay? So this x is like less than 3, -3. So we use this to plug in, and you put x here. This one is 2. 2 is greater than this number, so it's fit in this one. So we pick this function and put the 2 where x is, and then -5, that's all. Okay? Just plugging in number. But you have to pick the correct function. All right, the next one is given 2 points from the equation. It was on the take-home quiz. It seems like almost everybody can do it. Let me hold on to this first. Let's do the one that you may not know, okay? So we will do that if we have time. I also haven't done the mean, median, and mode one. So the next one is we need to be able to write the cost function, the revenue function, and the profit function. So this is very important. You will see it in many exams in business math for me. I don't know about other people. It's probably this one, probably next one, and final exam for sure. And then when you do 1325, next semester also we'll see that. Okay, cost function, we use what to represent? Of x will equal to what? Variable cost plus fixed cost. Everybody okay? Revenue function, we write what?
Price, R
R of x equal to price times number of units sold. So this will not be given to you. You need to practice and remember them. Profit function, we use what? P of x will equal to what you make for selling stuff, subtracting the cost, right? I don't know why, but last year people keep switching the two. That will make no sense. Like, how much revenue you have, subtract how much it costs you. Then the rest will be profit. Okay? Okay, these 3 things, are you going to be okay? And then the next question is related to it. So if you don't know this, you cannot do the next one. So this company product $15 per unit, $28 per unit. And the fixed cost is going to be $43,000 per month. Okay, so they want you to do first, I want to see the cost function. Second one, I want to find the revenue functions. And then I found the profit functions. And after that, I want to know the profits if you sold 6,000 units. Okay, so together with the last part is more than 10 points. So the cost, revenue, and profits questions, it will be more than 10 points all totally. Okay, cost functions. You say variable cost plus fixed cost, right? What is my fixed cost? 43,000 need to be there, right? How do I calculate the variable cost? per unit times
X.
how many units we don't know, so it's going to be x. Everybody okay finding cost functions? Did you know that? Because it's going to be in many, many, many exams. Okay, web times units. So what is your price? $28 per unit times the unknown how many units I sold is going to be just x. Okay, be careful with the profit. I'm supposed to use the revenue, subtract the cost, right? The revenue is what? X, but you have to be careful. The second part, you're subtracting the whole cost. So this guy need to be in parentheses. So the cost function was 15x plus 43,000, right? So because it's subtracting more than one term, we're going to need to distribute the negative in there. So we're going to have 28x and then what? Subtract 15x and then?
Minus 43,000.
Got it. Okay, so 28x minus 15x 13x and then minus 43,000, sorry. So this is your profit function, okay? You have to do a little bit calculation, make sure you distribute the negative. That's the part that most students forget. You're subtracting both. All right, so if I need to find profit for 6,000, which function are we using? Profit function, plug in x equal to 6,000, so this better be correct, okay? So 13 times 6,000 minus 43,000. Put 6,000 here. Put it to calculator. Did you make a profit or are you going to lose some money? $35,000 profits. Okay, are we okay with cost function, revenue function, profit function, and plugging in number? This is the question I was hoping that will give you points. Last of blank one. So I put it in the review this time, so hopefully that draw your attention a little bit closer. That's a paper review that I gave you, right? Everybody have that paper review? And the paper review I also give you the solutions. But when you look at the solution, don't just say, okay, got it. You have to actually practice it, okay? So those are an extra set of questions that you can practice, okay? That review that I gave everybody. It look kind of like that, right? Everybody got it? Do you? You look confused. I will look again, but stay after class, so make sure you have it, and if not, I'll try to find your copy, okay? All right. So the next one is going back to algebra stuff. They want to find domain. Domain is possible what? X value. So one of them say f of x equal to x plus 2 and then x minus 9, which have a denominator. The second one, we have something under the root, x minus 12. So both of them have some restriction. Normally, if it's like a regular function, if you say like if it's f of x equal to 5x minus 2. The last one is what kind of function? A linear function. The slope is positive, so it go like this, right? If the graph like that, then we are going to have what kind of domain? Negative infinity to positive infinity, because the graph go forever both sides, right? So that's the one that is regular polynomial. But these two have some issues. One of them have denominator. The denominator cannot equal to what? 0. So this part cannot equal to 0. So the only number will make the bottom part equal to 0 is going to be 9. And if you cannot see it, you can solve it, right? X minus 9 cannot equal to 0. You can add both sides. X cannot equal to 9. because when x plug in 9, the bottom equal to 0, right? So the only number we are skipping in this universe is 9. How do I write the domain?
Negative infinity to 9, and then 9 infinity.
Because if you put on a number line, the only thing you're skipping is 9. All right, so we have one more restriction for things under the square root. We cannot have what under the square root?
Negative.
No negative number under square root, because if you have negative under the square root, it will turn into imaginary I. So whatever under the root, x minus 12 need to be at least what? Oh, you mean the x, but this whole thing need to be at least 0 or bigger than 0. So if you have square root of 0, it's okay, but anything less than 0, you're going to get into imaginary. So I can solve that by moving the 12 over here, which means my x value should be at least 12 or bigger than 12. So the bottom, so the under the square root part is not going to be negative, okay? So if that's the case, how do I write the domain? It can start from 12, go towards infinitive, but close that with, why is it brackets? Because it's equal to, okay? If it's not equal to, it would be parentheses. So like that, so how do I write the domain? Domain is starting from 12, go to infinitive, close 12 with a brackets because of equal to, close the infinitive with parenthesis because I don't know where's infinitive, okay? So this set of questions also usually cause a lot of problem. So make sure you review them a little bit more. It's also the set that people leave it blank. Questions? All right. The next part we were going to give the difference of quotient, but in the past experience, students have such a hard time, so the coordinators say I can break it down like this. Maybe you can find some of them. So given g of x equal to this, and then we want you to find a is f, I'm sorry, we are doing g. So let's stick with g of 0. We'll do g of negative 4 and c, g of a and d, g of a plus h. What does it mean, g of 0? Whenever you see x, you plug in 0. So it's 5 times something squared plus 2, you plug in 0. So what do we get? Just 2, right? Because anything multiplied to 0 is going to be 0. Add a 2 equal to 2. Okay, plugging in 0. Okay, plug in a negative 4 next. So 5 times something squared plus 2, you plug in negative 4. So don't forget, you need to follow the order of operation, meaning which part first? Square. So negative 4 times negative 4 will be 16 positive. Adding a 2. What is the next order of operation part? Multiplication. 5 times 16, 80 plus 2. Okay, so just plugging in number, make sure you follow order of operations. Next one just mean whenever I see x, I need to plug in a, so it's going to be 5 plug in a perfect square plus a 2. That's all I can do, right? Nothing else. Okay, next one is harder. It's 5 times something square plus a 2, right? What do I plug in?
A plus h.
Very good. A plus h. How do I plus h perfect square?
Boil it up.
Yes, so one of the common mistake is people think a plus h perfect square equal to a square plus h square, which is not right, okay? You cannot distribute the square in there if that's add and subtract. So what you need to do is you have 5 outside, and then you have to multiply by itself a plus h times a plus h, and then add a 2 out there. Okay, so you FOIL it out. A times a times h, a times h times a, like that. So we're gonna have 5 times inside. What do we get? Yeah, plus ah plus h square plus a 2. And then after that, you can combine this ah thing. That's why he get 2ah. And then what? Distribute the 5 inside, so that would give me 5a squared plus 10ah plus 5h squared. One more. Plus 2. Anything we can combine? Okay, so that's the basic one. We didn't do the difference of quotient because we think it's probably going to be too hard. So we also need to kind of look at the transformation stuff. So they are going to give you a fx, and then they want you to graph g of x equal to x minus, g of x equal to f x minus 3 squared plus 2. So they're going to give you some kind of graph. Say 1, 2, 3 here. You have a graph here. And then 1, 2, 3 like here. And then okay, so you could like plug the point if you want. This is 0, 3. This would be 3 and 3. And 3, and then the last one would be 4 and 1. So this is the given graph they give you. So I'm going to say the given graph have 3 points. 0 and 3, 3 and 3, and 4 and 1. And we talk about how to move the graph in one of the sections. There is something happening inside with x. There's something happening outside of x, right? So follow the order of operation. We need to look at this part first. This part is telling us to do what? Because it's together with x, so we solve for x. X minus 3 equal to 0, x equal to positive 3. That's why you say go to the right 3 units, right? And the outside part would be your y value will equal to 2, meaning where are we going? Up to. Okay, so if those are the information that we get, y equal to 2 up to, and x equal to 3 is a positive number going to the right hand side, then how do I find the new point? You need to do what? Add 3, right? So instead of 0, now we have 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay. Anyway, so the y part we're going to need to do what? Add 2. So start with 5 and then 5 and then. Okay. So moving, you can just use these 3 points to plug the new graph. So I'm going to need to move the whole graph to the y 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And then up 2. So 1, 2. So start there. Second point also 1, 2, 3, up 2. Maybe I'm okay. And then the last point is up white 1, 2, 3, and up 2. So about here. So if you plug those 3 points, you should get the new graph like that. Go to the y 3 units. Go up. Get the new one. Are we okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the extra credit one first, and then we will go to look at the 2 that we didn't look at. So this is a life insurance that this person purchased for $30,000, and the policy is going to cost the customer $420 for this year. Okay, assuming the probability of this person live another year is 98%. So what is the customer expected value? Okay, so we can have two different outcomes. What kind of outcome can we have? Can stay alive, they can die, and then we need to list the value and the probability. So thinking about from the customer's perspective, okay? They say from the customer's perspective, if he stay alive, what kind of value does he get?
Minus 30,000.
Yeah, he's going to lose how much
30,000. No.
if he stay alive?
Oh,
420 he has to pay in, right? If he stay alive. If he die, then how much can he get?
30,000.
30,000?
No, you have to subtract.
You have to subtract the $420 you pay in, right? So actually, he's going to get okay, that's the value if he die, right? His family is going to get that much. What is the probability he's going to stay alive?
80%.
Which means 0.98. When we calculate, we have to change them to decimal. The probability of he dying is 1 minus 0.98, which is 2% or 0.02, right? So this is an expected value problem. So again, it's going to be value times probability, adding value times probability, something like that, right? So what do I need to multiply and add?
Negative 420.
Negative 420 times
0.98.
0.98, adding
29,580 times 0.02.
Okay, so go ahead and calculate that. Let me return back the graded stuff to people. I'm going to briefly talk about the one that we already handed to you. We didn't get to, but if you want to stick around, I will work them out. Get that answer, please.
Negative 28808.4.
Is it? So that was negative 411.6. I think I messed up that question, so you may have an unexpected answer. Combine the two, what do we get? Somebody's about to get fired. So it's negative 420 times 0.98, adding 29,580 times 0.02. What do you get? Positive or negative? It's a positive one. Positive 180, that's why I say somebody is going to get fired, right? So the customer is going to expect what? It's not actually gaining, but expected to gain $180 for this policy, meaning the company is expected to $180 per policy. So somebody miscalculated. This is a bad policy, so that's not very good. Okay, I'm gonna go talk about the two questions we didn't really cover yet, but probably will be on the test. And then if you want to stick around, I will work it out. Okay. So one of the question is similar to the one on the take-home quiz. You have a list of number. You need to find mean, median, and mode, and I need you to show me steps. Okay. What is the step of finding the mean? Adding all of them together on top, divided by how many data you have, and they will tell you how many decimal places to round, so make sure you read the question carefully. How do you find median? If I ask you to explain and show the step. Median, you need to put it in order, least to the greatest, and then find the middle value. So it could be in the middle, have a number. If not, you need to do what? Add them together and then divide by 2, which is the average, right? What is mode? Most occurred one. Then if nothing is repeating, then you have no mode. If you have more than one set of number repeating the same number at the most, then what happened? You can have multiple set of modes. Okay, another question we didn't have time to show you at this moment, but you can stick around, I will show it to you. It's like if you're given 2 points and you need to write the equation of line, how do you do it? First, you need to find the slope, and then after you have the slope, you use the point slope formula, plug in 1 point and the slope, right? And then simplify. Okay, any questions? If you want to stick around, I will do those questions here. So you'll be on the video. If not, make sure you do as much homework as you can. You should be to study. Be ready and come here on Thursday to take the test, okay? Anybody want to say? Okay. So finding mean, median, and mode. Have a nice afternoon. Get your tea. Okay, 88, 76. Yeah, I will find, this is the old one, so let me find you another one, okay? 82, 79, 72, and 72. Thank you. All right, so we're going to find the mean first, so we need to do what? Add up the top, so it's going to be 88 plus 76 plus 82 plus 79 plus 72 plus 72, right? And then how many numbers do we have? 6, so divided by 6, okay? So find me the sum on top, please. Use the calculator. If I want 1 decimal place, you get what? Point what? Okay, it's 1/6 like this, right? Repeating. So if I want 1 decimal place, it would be 78.2 because like this one is more than 5, right? So it has to round up. Are we okay? All right. The second one is median. So median, first we need to do what? Least to the greatest. So the smallest one is, and then 72 and 72 again, and then 76. What else? 79. The calculator. I'm using the calculator. 82, and then 88. All right, we got all of them, right? So, and then what do we do now? Oh, so I can use my finger, right? Like this and this. And then I have 2 here, right? So I don't have a middle number. Bye. And I have these 2, so what do I do? Add them together, divided by 2. So can you find that for me, please? one decimal place. You have to add this first and then divide by 2. $77.5, because it should be close to the other number, right? So if it's like way off, like you want to double check. So it may be you doing it like this, like 70 plus 79 divided by 2, then this would be wrong because they will divide that first and then add. So you either like add the top first and divide, or you put a parenthesis on top, okay? All right, the last one is mode. So how do we find mode? Do they have one? The 72 is the most occurred one because we have 2 of those here, right? Is it okay? So one is like that. The very last question I'm going to show you is given 2 points. We need to find equation of line. So given 2 points, the 2 point is 4 comma negative 7 and then 3 comma negative 10. Find equation of line. Equation of line. First, we need to find what? Slope. Do you remember the slope from Can you go ahead and find it for me, please? So it's going to be first slope m equal to y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1. x1, y1, x2, y2, negative 10. 3 minus 4.
Is this the one where we do like one and then something like that? It's like an M in it?
So the formula would be on the formula sheets, okay? So help me to plug in. It would be y minus. You can pick one of the point. Either point is going to be okay. But we are plugging in 1 point along with the slope. So y minus what? Pick one. Doesn't matter. Y minus negative 10, and then m is 3, x minus have to stick with the same point. You pick negative 10. Yeah, you have to pick the same point. Okay, so you pick negative 10 and then 3. If you want to do this, it's okay, but have to be the same point. Okay. All right, so this is y what? Negative times negative is positive 10. And then over here, what do I do? We're going to get... One more step. The answer needs to be y equal to mx plus b. So I need to move one more thing. Y by itself. Okay, I want y by itself. You only have one thing attached to y, which is...
Oh, do put the 10 with like...
How do I move it? What's the opposite of that? Subtract 10. Okay, y equal to?
3x plus...
Okay, minus 9 and minus 10. So you owe me $9, you borrow 10 more. Minus
Wait,
what?
What'd you say?
You owe me $9, you borrow 10 more.
19?
It's 19, but possible negative.
Positive.
Owe me money, you borrow some more.
But I thought you said a negative.
Times.
Oh.
So it's like you write a check and you write a check, so now it's going to be still you owe money, right? So it's negative. And if you're not sure, just put it on the calculator. So they have the negative one you can use. So negative, you can do like negative this button, okay? 9 and then subtracting a 10 like that. So it'd be negative. But if it's negative 9 multiply a negative 10, then it become positive. Okay? But practice this, okay? Questions? All right, I'm going to stop this.